Welcome back to Beyond the Mats, everyone. Today I'm joined by an MMA fighter out of Denver, Colorado, Austin Osmosis Jones. We're going to dive into his journey and his life outside of fighting. Austin, thanks for coming on, man. I'll give you a second to kind of introduce yourself and just go over your record and your gym.
It's my pleasure, man. It's been awesome to be on the show, and yeah, man, it's been a crazy journey, especially in this MMA world. Yeah, I train out of Factory X Muay Thai over here in Inglewood, Colorado. I have a record of 16-11. Currently working my way to the UFC. Coming off of two finished victories, so looking for a third and a fourth, or how many ever it takes. So I'm ready to go.
Awesome, that sounds great. So before we kind of dive into the MMA, let's start about life before you started fighting. What's kind of your background and where did you really grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in Aurora, Colorado. Attended the um, Smoky Hill High School. Grew up playing football actually since I was 9 years old. Knew nothing about martial arts or MMA or anything like that until I got to college. I went to the University of Nebraska, and that's where I actually started watching MMA fights. There was a bar called the Fat Toad, which I believe Chuck Liddell at the time owned the bar. And this is back when like the UFC pay-per-views would come on, like I think like 3 or 4 times a year. And I just started watching those and got inspired. I don't know how, but kind of drew me in. And I was just like, I'm going to give this a shot if the NFL doesn't work. But yeah, I'm a Colorado kid originally. A lot of people actually think I'm from Nebraska, but I just attended school there. Had an amazing experience there. Taught me a lot about just being an athlete, staying consistent. Met a lot of amazing people there, and just really built my competitive nature there. Even though I played football since I was 9 years old, I was in there, in a room full of wolves, and it was super competitive, and that's what I kind of missed when I was done playing football. So that's what drew me into MMA as well.
You kind of answered my next question. It was what really drew you into martial arts. It was kind of just going to the bars and watching the fights.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just like I just love the competitive nature of it. I did wrestle in high school too, so I guess that might have been an element that added to it. But I just thought it was such a cool like experience to see these guys really put it on the line, and it really reminded me of football, where it's like you got that one opportunity, that one play that you have is you're only as good as your last play, and I feel like you're only as good as your last fight. So I think that correlation really drew me in.
Was it kind of difficult at first transitioning from football, like more of a team sport, to MMA, where it's kind of just like a solely, I mean, you have your coaches and teammates and everything, but it really inside the cage, it's just you.
Well, luckily, I feel like I had a great team when I was at Nebraska. There was such great bonding. So in my mind, I was like, I didn't want to do MMA unless I found a good team behind me, and kind of researched a little bit when I got back home to Colorado. And I was like, where's some of like the best fight teams out here? So that's how I kind of started that journey. Is like, I want to find a good team that all the guys that get along with, I can build a bond with. And, you carry that same energy in with your fight. You always feel like you're in there by yourself, but you have the energy of your teammates as well in there. So I think that's like a good way to handle all the crazy doubts and the fear that goes into it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people really, I feel like, have a great gym like that, like a support system.
Mm-hmm. And the big part about it is like obviously this is a super serious sport, but
Yeah,
you still got people that you can laugh with, some people that you can kind of go through it with.
exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you was, how did your nickname Osmosis come about?
It was to be honest, it was super random. I didn't think it was gonna stick. The fans love it. I'm pretty nonchalant about it, but I was like, I'll let it roll. I think if you force the nickname, um, people don't really get drawn to it. And I was like, I just started going with Osmosis because one of my buddies, Chase Vaughn, who actually played at CSU Pueblo, worked his way all the way to the Denver Broncos, gave me that nickname. So we went to high school together and played some ball together. He's like, you should go with Osmosis. It sounds cool. And isn't that the movie?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. It kind of rolls off, and people will be drawn to it. So I was like, all right, let's go with it.
No, it definitely is really cool and unique. That, like, when I first found you, that is one thing I was like, well, that's kind of cool. I've never seen anyone with that name before, so I think
I
it
mean, who
works.
doesn't like Bill Murray and Chris Rock either? If
Yeah,
you go watch.
exactly. Well, let's start to get into the fighter's journey. When did you really make the switch and start training MMA seriously?
So yeah, once I graduated from college, I was in Lincoln for about another 6 months because I had to live out my lease. So I was, training at like some random small gyms out there just to get a workout in. While I was training for pro day, did pro day and everything, but unfortunately didn't get picked up by any teams. To be honest, I was kind of at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to recruitment out of college because I was a tryout walk on. Still, lettered, 3 years in a row, but just didn't quite have enough of the playing time to really show anything. But did my best on pro day. Didn't work out, and I was like, you know what? I still want to be an athlete. I still want to stay in shape. So as soon as I moved back home, I actually found a gym. There was an American Top Team here in Denver for a while, ran by Bobby Lashley. And he's awesome wrestler, awesome pro wrestler. So he kind of took me under his wing, and we started training there. Which is actually where I met Yusuf Zalal as well. Like we both started training together in the beginning, and unfortunately, the gym shut down here in Denver, and then we linked up with Coach Mark, and that's when we started taking the career serious and everything. So.
What about your first fight experience? How did that go? Was it kind of more nerves, excitement?
To be honest, like I remember being nervous, but it was like I don't quite remember it because I was like, that was one of the best times I fought, one of the best performances I had because I was so clueless, and I was just like, I've been training really hard. I've been doing all these jiu-jitsu tournaments. I want to actually see if I can go win a fight. So like in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna go win this fight. I'm gonna go see if I can actually do this. So I think as a fighter, it's super hard to maintain that mentality. And it's like at the time, like I didn't have any crazy technique, but it's like the tenacity was there, So now that I have all this technique, I'm trying to always find that same like curiosity going into my next fight. So unfortunately, there's no. It's like the one fight I don't have film in. It drives me crazy.
Where was it in Colorado?
Yeah, so this is even crazy. So like there used I don't know if you remember Red and Jerry's like off the Santa Fe in Bellevue. It's,
Mm, I don't know if I do.
it's like a funplex type place, and they have like events there. Those typical like MMA
Yeah.
shows have events there, and it's like a skate city or whatever, right? I fought there. That was my very first fight, and I won the fight. I was like the fifth fight of the night. So, all my friends were there celebrating with me. We left early, and I guess like a fight broke out like at the end of the night, and they shut down that whole
Jeez.
show. And I was like, "Word, can I at least get my video?" And never heard.
That's insane. Well, let's get into the training and mindset. What's a
Mhm.
typical training week look like for you right now?
Oh man, it's intense. I don't want to give away too much of my secrets,
Yeah, yeah,
but
without it kind of
I,
exposing too much. You don't have to
I
go
can
too into detail.
I can go in the I can go over the morning schedule. So typically, Monday through Wednesday, I go to Lambda Performance, do our strength and conditioning there, and then Monday through Friday, we're doing our MMA training. So we got a striking day, a wrestling day, a jiu-jitsu day, etc., and then we have a sparring day on Friday. So it's a minimum 3 hours a day, and then after that, I just head off to work. I work for a construction company called DHC, and I do some project management there, and that's kind of my day. It gets pretty hectic, but I love it. Keeps me honest.
Awesome. So in the mental side of fighting, how do you really try to handle the pressure or nerves or just bouncing back from tough moments in the sport?
Well, lucky me, I can kind of go over the things I didn't do well and the things I did do well. I'll start with the things I didn't do so well. I think what I didn't do well is just try to always like control the outcome of the fight, right? Like, or control what's happening the week of the fight, or letting small little things outside of the actual fight determine, oh, this is going to mess up the fight, or this is how the fight's going to go because of this and that. And even like on the the counter, I guess like the how do I explain this? Like too much of a good thing can be bad too, right? So like sometimes I would be like, oh, if I do A, B, and C, I'm gonna win this fight, like because I did all these. I hit it. I checked the list. Everything should go according to plan, right? Those are the times I actually didn't perform as well. So those two elements where it's like I'm trying to control the outcome, or I'm like thinking these superstitious things are going to affect the fight, right? But on the good side, the times I did do well was like I trusted the hard work. I was like, you know what? Regardless of what happens, I still got my family and friends behind me. They still love me whether I win or fail, and that kind of freed things up for me to kind of go out there and just actually have fun. And the other aspect of it was, we do all this training. We're learning new things every day. Like, why not go try what you're learning? Like, we obviously have our strengths and we have our weaknesses, but typically in every camp you're working on certain things that you may have not done before or you haven't tried before. So like you're learning new things, go try that in the fight and see what happens. Even if it doesn't go, even if you don't do it, it's like it shifts the mindset a little bit. Like you have an idea in mind that you want to go attack. So
Cool.
yeah.
So far in your career, have you had any mentors or coaches or even teammates who have helped shape your game?
Oh, I mean, my entire team, big time. Even people I don't train with anymore. I think everyone that was just around. So, um, a few names I can think of. They all have different, things they bring to the table. I would say Dustin Jacoby is just like he's one of those. He's just such a super positive guy and like has such a strong belief in himself. He's really been through it. I can relate to him because he's had a lot of highs. His career is really kicking off, and he just really trusts the process and super lighthearted about things. Super stoic in his mindset. So at the he doesn't really overthink the process, right? So he knows he's going to go out there and win. Another guy is Yusuf Zalal. Like one thing I wish I was more. One thing I wish that was more about me is like he's super vocal, like about the things he wants to accomplish, the way he helps coach fighters. He's super vocal about the things that he does, even like his mindset. You can't tell him he's not going to go do something. He's going to go do it every time, and he does it in practice. So, which is why it reflects in his fights. So, that's super inspiring. And obviously, our head coach Mark, he has so much experience in coaching us and traveling around the world, protecting us as fighters. I think that's such a big thing too. It really makes you feel secure when you're going into your fights, knowing that you have this team behind you and all the knowledge across the board. So.
Yeah, that sounds great. Like, it's definitely a solid foundation. I feel like one of the biggest things behind a fighter is, all the teammates and coaches behind him. So that's awesome to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's take a break and get off the mats for a second. I know you mentioned you work for a construction company, but other than that, what do you enjoy outside of MMA? Any other hobbies or anything?
Oh yeah, the new hobby I have is playing the guitar. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes that feels harder than training. It's because I guess it's something so new and feels like I'm like a white belt all over again.
Yeah.
Um, falling in love with that. That's what I do like a night routine. And then outside of that, I like to read a lot of books, just hang out with friends. I like rooftop bars quite a bit and concerts. So it's something new every weekend. You know what I mean? You got to kind of mix it up and be lighthearted about it, especially when a fight is coming up. So.
So that kind of ties into the next one, how you balance the grind of fighting with your personal life. Is that a little hard at the pro level?
Yeah, that one I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, especially these days, man. I feel like with the internet, like it's made things a lot easier, but I think it's made us a lot more busy. There's, you got your job, you got your training, then you got social media. You know how it goes. Like with
Yeah.
that's a job in itself. So, um, yeah, the balance is key. So I'm trying to do a lot better now because I have a niece and a nephew now, so got to put more time into the family. And again, like the fighter's mind is like, oh, I can't, I got to sacrifice. But it's like sometimes you got to go do those things just to take the pressure off yourself. It's like at the end of the day, fighting is going to be gone one day, but those people are still going to be around. They're still going to be there. They still need you. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to find different ways to provide for your family and everything and create that balance. So sometimes providing for your family is just simply being there for them. So.
That's one of the hardest things I feel like I hear a lot about is just trying to find that balance. Like you always hear about how important it is to find balance, but it's always hard to find that perfect balance.
But life definitely has a way of getting you there. That's for sure. There's always these wake up calls in life, and
Yeah.
um, people aren't always going to be there. Like what I'm saying, like people pass away or like they move away. So as much as you can, do the best you can and cherish those moments. So
Yeah, I agree 100%.
yeah.
Let's kind of jump into the Colorado fight scene. What's kind of your take on the fight community in Denver and Colorado overall?
Super high level. Especially these days. I would say like the amateur scene is looking pretty crazy. Like I think it just comes along with all the teams and all the gyms know like you need a team. And it's iron sharpens iron. That's our model at Factory X. Is like everyone in that room is important, and you're only strong as your weakest link. So you got to pick the bottom up, and then maintain the top. So um, it's super competitive, and as a pro though, it's tough. It's tough to get fights as a pro. So,
Yeah.
um, but I've done a lot of fights like out of state, to be honest. Like probably more than I fought in state, which kind of sucks because I have a lot of fans out here. But I got to do what I got to do. I'm ready for the next level. But the Colorado scene, I would say, is for sure top 10 in the United States as far as talent wise. So.
How would you kind of compare the training environment of Colorado compared to other fight hubs? Have you really trained anywhere else or?
A little bit. I mean, I think the cultures are a little different. Like, I've trained in the Midwest where the gyms are much smaller.
Yeah.
Um, some gyms are more laid back. I mean, for sure at Factory X, we have such a strict schedule. That's why I like it. It reminds me of when I played in college. So, but as far as like, yeah, the cultures are just a little different. Some places, everything's in house. You got everything you need there. Some places, just like this is our team, and you can go get different looks other places. But I think whatever method works for that team, go where you feel like you need to excel your game at.
Yeah, awesome. So, other than yourself, are there any up and coming fighters from Colorado that people should really watch out for, in your opinion?
Oh man, I mean, I guess I can list off every single guy on our team. But yeah, there's we have most of our guys are on our team are UFC, and then there's some regional pros, but we have some amateur guys that are definitely gonna shock the world here soon. There's a Seth Tumbleson, he's only 19, and then there's Pedro Lopez. They're both hopefully fighting soon on the Colorado scene, making their MMA debut. But those kids are super talented. Super proud of what they've accomplished, especially because they got on the team and like all these guys, have 5 to 10 years under their belt on them, and they're just sticking it out and grinding, working hard, and just being really receptive to the information that's given to them. So I'm super excited for those two. Another one is Lolo Grigio. Like this kid is a straight up athlete. Like he reminds me of me because I believe he played college football too, and just a freak athlete. He's 155s. You'll see him, hold some Colorado belts and then moving on to UFC as well. So,
That's
you
great
know,
to look
I
forward
could talk
to.
another hour talking about these
Yeah.
guys, but
There's so many good fighters. That's one thing I kind of knew before asking you that a little bit, how good like Denver's and just Colorado overall their MMA fight scene is. Like I know there's like a ton of good guys out there in Colorado.
yeah,
So kind of looking ahead, what are your goals for the rest of your career? I know you were talking about trying to get to the UFC. Can you go over some of those goals for us?
yeah, man. My career's been crazy. I fought UFC level guys probably most of my career, like guys that have literally been in UFC, guys that have made it to the UFC, beat some of them and lost to some of them. So it's been kind of an up and down, hill battle, especially because most for the most part the UFC is looking for like some consistent finishes. So that's what I've been working towards. I obviously want to be in the UFC. Biggest thing is like when I get there, I'm going to make the most of it. That's been my goal. If I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go try to win a world title. You know what I'm saying? So otherwise, it's what's the point? I have a good job, um, and I just like to continue to compete. So when I get there, it's like I'm not. It's not really about the money. I know the money's going to come, but I'm actually looking to chase a world title. So I know if I can do it on the regional scene, I can do it on the world scene. So
Do you have a dream opponent that you would like to fight eventually sometime in your career?
yeah, I got a few of them. Jacoby Smith, he's a guy I already fought. I'd love to run that one back. I fought him on the Fury scene. He's in UFC now, making a statement. And then I think a Joaquin Buckley would be cool. And then a Jack Madalena, that'd be an awesome one, awesome fight as well.
Yeah, I feel like any of those guys would be great fights. I'm kind of guessing it would be Denver, but any place that you would love to fight in for the UFC or headline or just any card specifically?
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, Ball Arena, and then I think most fighters want to fight at Madison Square Garden. That's like
Yeah,
a dream spot. I think like a Miami card would be cool, even and then the T-Mobile at Vegas. So, but yeah, you
awesome.
tell me, oh, I'll go.
I just feel like Denver, being from Denver especially, Ball Arena is such a cool place, and just being able to fight there, I feel like that would be a great experience.
Yeah, because then you'd be fighting with alongside of all the other Colorado fighters.
Yeah, exactly. What can fans expect next from you?
Oh, you're gonna see a whole different Austin Jones, like you always do. So I don't want to give away too much, but just know I'm coming ready to fight, and that's all I've been focusing on is just going out there and performing and letting everything handle the rest. I know what adversity feels like. I know what victory feels like. So um, just go out there and give it your all, and it's been working ever since.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching the rest of your career and where you take your next steps. Austin, it's been awesome having you on and getting to know more about your journey in and out of the cage. Wishing you nothing but success moving forward. For everyone listening, make sure to keep up with Austin and his career. And don't forget to follow Beyond the Mats on Instagram. I'll give you a couple seconds if you just like to shout out any sponsors or teammates or just say whatever you want to say.
Yep, I just like to shout out Factory X. Like to shout out the state of Colorado for putting on such amazing fights and allowing us all to do this. And shout out to all my sponsors. You know who you are. I'll make sure I tag you in the post. And appreciate you guys keep a good eye out on for me, and then I'll be ready to fight here soon.
One more time, I really appreciate your time and having you on, man. It's been awesome talking to you.
It's been a pleasure, man. Yeah, I would love to get back on after my next fight.
I'd love that. That is a wrap for this week's episode of Beyond the Mats. Thank you guys so much for listening, and a huge shout out to Austin Osmosis Jones for being this week's guest. Make sure you guys check out his Instagram at Osmosis Jones MMA. And do not forget to follow, leave a review, and share with your friends. More episodes and interviews coming weekly. If you guys know someone who wants to be on an episode, reach out, DM us on Instagram at Beyond the Mats Podcast to get into touch. Once again, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time, Beyond the Mats.